So thank you guys. It is an honor for me to moderate this panel. I'm the only man here on stage, so it is really intimidating, but I'm gonna get used to. So I wanna start off by perhaps letting you guys introduce yourselves and telling us a little bit more of your passion and how are you guys founders and directors of product of what you guys are doing.
Thank you, Jorge, for having us here, and anyone here in the audience actually making time to hear us. This is a very hectic day. So my name is Doris. I'm co-founder and CEO of Dippi. Dippi creates protocols to decentralize externally owned accounts. So the idea behind our product is to remove a single point of failure by losing your private keys, and we have our own network to deploy and shard your keys and make it more secure and safe for Web3 users. To actually use Web3. So thank you so much, Jorge, and thank you for having me here.
More than welcome. Mariana?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, George. Thank you for being moderating here. Thank you, everyone here attending. So my name is Mariana. I'm product director at All Protocol. And in All Protocol, what we are doing, we are providing a way that we can create a modular and standardized way of encoding and manage dynamic NFT utilities. So in this way, we allow creators, devs, and users to create, manage, and just focus on the engaging mechanics that we can create to the space while we are providing all the back-end and the technical support for it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Scarlett Arana, and I am the co-founder of BitBasel. BitBasel is the largest crypto art community in Miami, Florida. I'm also the artist in resident at University of Florida for blockchain research. And we've been helping empower the creator economy to onboard to Web3 through crypto art.
Awesome. So before we even started to talk about product and tech, I'd love to tap into a little bit of how, your background, your experience. How did you guys end up in Web3 and especially more recently on your companies? How did that process happen for you guys?
So I actually started in blockchain in 2017. Just for context, I was born and raised in Honduras. So it was through a very mentor of mine that he introduced me to a startup that they were building supply chain for commodities in blockchain. So that's how I got started in the ecosystem. And Dippi started because our clients started asking about, onboarding into Web3, and we saw how hard it was for them to actually, deploy, generate an NFT. So that's how I got back into the ecosystem of Web3. So I'm a developer myself, and I'm a part of HerDAO Latin America. And thanks to HerDAO and, sponsoring women to all these conferences, I was able to go to more than 10 or 15 hackathons last year, and that's how I got, extremely involved in the ecosystem, and we were able to deploy this. We were actually winners of ETH Mexico for Dippi, and that's how we got into private key management side.
I do have to say I met Doris participating on the eGlobal hackathons, leading teams, winning these bounties and these hackathons. So I give a lot of credit to that because she's been not only traveling but also working on the tech and on the product yourself. So I've seen that process. Mariana.
Thank you.
So my background is engineering. I've been working in startup over 7 years, since startups, but also big corporates as an Anheuser-Busch InBev in the innovation department. My last startup was a cross-border payment solution. A unicorn won. The last round was $450 million from one big fund in the US. But I was dealing with acquiring systems and MasterCard, Visa, and all the card schemes, and I was just feeling to be touching some commodity that was an acquiring bank solution. So I've already was in the space of blockchain and learning about the technology, the innovation behind it, 3 years before I decided to move completely to just work in the space. And then I'm probably 2 years just working and building some cool projects and products.
And so I was actually born and raised in Miami, and my background is Nicaraguan. That's from Central America. But I actually studied architecture and geospatial science. So that's somebody who's specialized in digital twin. With my background, I was a perfect fit for Web3. I started in Web3 back in 2013, actually. But then I was one of the advisors for the Blockchain Center. And then in 2020, we decided to open up a company called BitBasel in honor of Art Basel that happens every year in December. The idea with that is to help empower the creators during the time of COVID and learn about Web3. What does it mean? What are NFTs? What are metaverse? And how can I become part of this ecosystem? Miami, as you know, is a multicultural, multilingual community. What that means is, how do you translate technical applications into multiple language? So we found that art as an easy, compatible entry point for the adoption of Web3 through the creators. So I did this with my abuelita test. My abuelita, who's 92 years old, doesn't speak a word of English. I had to explain to her, what are metaverse, what are NFTs? So I told her, if I could get my abuelita to learn about Web3, then I could have a measurement of how to onboard the masses in Miami, Florida. So art became that entry point for many in terms of the adoption of NFTs. So BitBasel has been constantly working in providing these services through workshop, educational platforms, and also unlocking the city's cultural value through art as a means of learning and adopting this, blockchain education. We find that people were very engaged to learn more and really embrace their culture and expressing their culture through art. Now, I'm always very bullish about impact. How do you create impact with art? So BitBasel has done many initiatives around the SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, which was empowered by the United Nations, which gives artists a framework about how to create impact using their artwork. So this was really the entry point of many of how art, tech, and impact can really generate a decentralized community. Very exciting work.
I was gonna say I'm a little bit. This is a bias because I'm also co-founder of BitBasel with Scarlett. But it is an honor. I've been moderating other panels, and I couldn't stop myself from bringing the talent that in the product and the women leading this way there in Miami. I am just one member of the community, but there is a tremendous movement happening in Miami led by women that are learning a lot more about Web3, and this is extraordinary. So it is a little bias on me here, but I couldn't be more fan of everything that's happening in South Florida for all Latin America. So I want to learn a little bit more about the company. When did you guys started? And how did that happen? How long you guys been? I know you guys are going to be launching new product very soon, but how did you end up getting your perhaps first push investment and forming the team?
So actually, Dippi, as the name Dippi started in Denver 2022. So we won a bounty there, and from that point on, Dippi started. We actually started as an NFT minting platform, but users are not required to have a wallet or crypto. And from that point on, the company evolved to focus specifically on private key management. And we formalized it in ETH Mexico when we won. We were finalists with the project right now, and and started with my co-founder. So it was just more of that journey that you can convert your hackathon project into a company once you validate the market, understand what are the needs. So that was like our case, and it really helped us just to meet a lot of community, get that feedback by attending to all these Web3 conferences, and actually build a product that is tackling a lot of the problems that the industry have. So after ETH Mexico in August, this is when we officially started with Dippi.
Awesome. Mariana, you have been not only product director, but almost like a co-founder, I will say. How is that, before we enter to talk about product, because I know you guys are dying to talk about product, how is that experience from you being Latina? Is that have been an advantage or something that it's harder for you to talk about product when you're a woman?
I think I'm gonna divide the question a little bit. I think being an immigrant in US is super difficult. No matter if you are Latina, if you are from India, if you are from whatever other country, you're starting a new country is super difficult, and people don't even have the empathy sometimes to realize all the face and challenges that you face daily. When you're far from your family, you are just building your network, you're just building like your product, you're starting from zero, and you still have the face of like all the challenges that normally the woman have. And sometimes even like crazy when sometimes someone stopped to hear you and they realize, oh, they have some knowledge, this is impressing. No, it's not impressing, it happens. We are all women and we can talk to you in the same level. But how was the question about product? This was the first one, answer.
I have one more question for Scarlett.
Okay.
You're from Miami. What have you seen in Latin America? What do you see before we enter into product? How do you see the difference for women in Latin America learning Web3 and entering this space? How is that different from the women, Latinas or not, here in the US? How do you see that coming out?
Definitely, Latina women actually are embracing Web3. Take, for instance, crypto wallets. Crypto wallets and crypto in general is to help unbank. Latina women has a different perspectives in terms of if you're a developer and how to come with different initiatives, such as women's health, something that's often not overlooked in these times. So having a different perspectives in how LATAM is being impacted with Web3 is very important. These are the discussions that are now being introduced, and having the technology and the tooling to help empower these women has been a life-changing. A lot of the Latina women in Central and South America are going through rough times because of gender inequality. They have to deal with children and have to deal with grow up in a society that they often overlook. Besides economic mean, you're not even considered about women's health. So by providing and empowering these women with Web3, you're actually giving a financial vehicle, the financial literacy, the mental health that's really diversifying this ecosystem. So I do encourage everybody in this space, if you're in Web3, please reach out to diversify this ecosystem. It's very important because one, you're empowering these women to have the economic mobility to move beyond their current states, which oftentimes can keep women in a very difficult situation. And then you're dealing with generational trauma. So you're now empowering these women with the tooling to have more access. So again, women in LATAM are now coming in with different perspectives and different initiatives to diversify this ecosystem.
Okay, NFT landscape, privacy, challenges, tooling. Mariana, how do you see the NFT market evolving around the world?
So doing an introduction, even explaining one of the reasons we started our protocol, I think back in the days, like end of 2021, we started like all this boom of NFT market, NFT collections, but after everyone starts realizing that lacks utility, and we start like a new generation talking about an NFTify and finding new ways of promoting more utility to the space. So not just the utility, we also had the problem of a lot of collections launching like a value, like all the market cap of the collection launching the day zero, but after no generate any kind of cash flow, so this just became like unsustainable for just continues the project and remaining with the first budget that the collections or the projects had with the NFT collection being launched or whatever project being launched. So the way we are looking the path forward for this is really like shifting and transactioning from the high value market cap to a microtransactions model where we allow this through microtransactions, utility interactions, and we are allowing this First, creating interoperable assets that everyone can build on top of, creating more utilities and allowing everyone to be able to launch more utilities. And with this, having more users engaged, have more gamified communities, have more ways of people interact between each other, between assets, and having the assets really owned by the users. Because again, we are in the Web3 economy. The assets need to be interoperable, and I need to be able to bring my asset from whatever game, let's give an example, to another game. And this right now is not happening. So we're looking this path forward. The second path we're looking also, instead of the shifting of the high value market to a microtransaction model, it is also removing the word NFT and making use case where we just use NFT as the back end. So like membership, loyalties, example Starbucks with the rewards program they just launched, is the NFT in the back end. So this is few things we're looking the path forward and more infrastructure to allow the interoperability between the assets.
We're gonna go back to that because I like what you're saying. But Doris, you have product coming out very soon. Do you want to start from there? Do you want to talk to us about what's coming very soon before we get into more privacy layers and tooling that you are working on?
Sure. So on Saturday, we're doing our alpha launch. We do have
Saturday.
Saturday with an event with Web3 Familia. We're partnering with them, and more than welcome anyone just to join us. So what we're going to be launching, it's a way to generate seedless wallets with just email and password. But the idea behind it is that users can actually sign into our protocol, and we will generate wallets from all the different chains. For them, it's going to be like a seamless experience, similar to using like Google Sign-In. You can use signing with Dippi. And then what we offer is that the private key retrieval capacity, right? So the user will say, I want to retrieve this key, and they will be able to use our protocol for that, right? So it's a very end-to-end experience for Web3 platforms. They can integrate with us. We don't charge anything for it. We believe that signings should be free, as they are in Web2. For you, it's better because you reduce the churn. And then for the user, as well, it's convenient. One, you don't have to be changing from wallets chain to chain. And two, you still have a non-custodial solution with the capacity of private key retrieval. That's the end goal. And this is the product that we're launching on Saturday.
Awesome. Stay tuned for Saturday. Alpha coming in. So, Scarlett, do you want to talk to us about BitBasel's minting platform? What's coming next? Where is BitBasel going in June? Let's talk about that collection, perhaps.
So BitBasel has been doing a big call to action using the Sustainable Development Goal, which was, the SDGs, for those who don't know, is actually something that was inspired by the United Nations to talk about some of the global goals to become better citizens. So they're trying to address what are the goals that we're trying to accomplish by 2030. So last BitBasel in 2020 in December, we did a huge call to action for artists and creators to submit artwork of their favorite SDGs that represent them, such as SDG number 5, gender equality. Through art as a means and conduit to express their artwork, these artists were selected to put their assets, their NFT assets that were submitted as SDG on the moon, on the actual moon. So BitBasel actually partnered up with NASA and Intuitive Machine, which is a lunar module, and we're going to create on this nickel disc. Etched in that nickel disc are the SDG Crypto Art Challenge. These arts helps to represent the global goals that we're trying to address here down on Earth. The nickel disc that's being preserved on this lunar volume is going to go and land on the moon, and it's going to be there for 1 billion years. So this is the first time use case where Web3 and space tech can be verified on blockchain. So what's exciting about this news is that in 2025, and why we're all here, is that we're actually going to put the first woman on the moon. So the very first time, NASA is going back to the moon, and we're empowering women because we feel that women have this amazing opportunity. So we're going to put our first woman on the moon. So this crypto art challenge is to help address gender equality in STEAM and to help more empowerment in technology. So in June of this year, we're going to be talking about how the Lunar Prize, which is an art gallery, a digital art gallery, which we can also create a digital twin here on Earth that anybody could view it. And then we're going to be able to talk about how art is creating impact and addressing such as gender equality, getting more women in STEAM, more women engineers, and also addressing the fact, we want to help more women to be part of these type of initiatives through art. Because art is that conduit. So super excited what BitBasel is part of, and we will continue doing so.
Thank you, Scarlett. Mariana, the NFT market and the whole is going through a transformation. What role play dynamic NFTs and utilities in all this transformative transition that the NFT market is going? What do you think?
So I think it also goes back to the last question I answered, that it is really allowing the utilities to create more engaging utilities, create more engaging use case, allowing more interaction with the users. We are talking right now about a new way of marketing campaigns, new way of indexing wallets, understanding consumer data through the blockchain, and be able to talk with the customers without even having this path of taking his customer data or privacy data. We are talking about just like anonymous wallets and understanding their comportment and understanding the assets and being able to just provide a better usability for them, or better assets, or better even engagement features. So the utilities will be able to create a new use case, will create to shift the way the economy in the NFT market model is going, and will be able even to create more engaging games. Because right now, all the games that we had in the space was a lot about play to earn and economic driving, and not about how can I really make a game that is fantastic and is attracting game players, and not people looking for work and exchange the value from the game, exploit the game, and just remove of this value because of money. And this happened a lot when we look the Asian countries in the pandemic. They start some of the countries start just looking and playing Axie Infinity as a way of salary. And this is good, okay? We create more opportunity, but this is not the path we are looking for Web3 games. And we're talking about ownership, and we're talking about providing this kind of allowance and community and everything that a game users or someone would like to face and interact with. So I think there's a lot of benefits, and dynamic NFTs make things more easy and also interactable. Also allowing the infrastructure will be also important. So it's not even the protocol layer, will be the infrastructure layer that will allow all this change to occur.
Awesome. And learning as well as we go here, and especially because Doris is raising and evolving also the concept of privacy and private keys. Would you tell us a little bit more about that, and Dippi, and how you guys are retrieving those private keys as well?
Sure. So what we bring to the table is that we had to develop our own network to shard your keys. That's the magic behind the curtains in our protocol, is that when you have a non-custodial solution, the problem is that you don't have a lot of options to store your keys. You can either have a centralized exchange that has your a key. You can have cold storage, right, like Ledger, or you can have paper wallets, and that's about it, right? When you have self-custody. So the question, that is very prone to human error. So the question was how can you still have ownership of your keys and have the capacity of retrieval, right? So my question was how can I give you something that I don't have? So this is obviously a mix of multiple cryptographic primitives that we've involved into our protocol that happen in the backend. So basically, we have it's called a mixnet, so like how Tor works. And these are a lot of like observers, we call them, and they have a little shard of information of your key. This is encrypted using AES, and we were able to rebuild your key using NPC when you make this request. This is one of the few technologies that we've developed, but we've developed this concept called decentralized security. That means that it's an asymptote, so as we become more decentralized, our protocol becomes more secure because the probability of collusion increments as we become more decentralized. So this is the technologies that we've innovated. We actually have a white paper for it, and this is how we're able to give the end user the capacity to have a non-custodial solution with the capacity of private key retrieval, which is like really the main focus of our protocol. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I want to make one last quick question about how do we join your organization? Where do we onboard? I know you guys have some alpha launching on Saturday, and I want to hear where is the invitation for all of us.
Sure. So thank you again for making the time to join us in this panel. You can find us at dp.xyz, dp with double P. And you can find us in Twitter with the same handle and dp.xyz in our page. Thank you very much for joining us.
So my last questions here. Thank you everyone that's here. And I think the last output is our world is dynamic. We are dynamic. The assets change. The value of the assets change with time. So the non-fungible tokens and all the assets in the blockchain need to change accordingly. So we are here to promote these tools for the creator space, devs and users, to create this kind of assets that can change accordingly as well. So we are our protocol. We are launching some of the features. We already have all the DNA encoded, all the data that is standardized and modular for everyone to be able to build on top of. So visit our website, ourprotocol.xyz. You can chat with me after here as well, and we're going to be glad to help you.
And to be part of BitBasel and including the Lunar Prize, all you have to do is check us out on our socials, bitbasel.com or hashtag BitBaselHub. And yes, you're definitely be able to be part of our activation. We are going to be launching again for Miami NFT Week coming up in April 1st. That is the largest NFT conference in Miami. So stay tuned and look us up in June with NASA.
Thank you so much, everyone. Latinas innovating now.